This is your last sign. From the Arcturians, act now. And before your logical mind jumps in, before skepticism builds its case, I invite you to simply listen. Not with your intellect, but with your resonance. Because this isn't about blind belief. It's about remembrance. Who are the Arcturians? The Arcturians are said to be highly evolved, fifth-dimensional beings associated with the star system of Arcturus, the brightest star in the constellation Botsus. In many spiritual traditions and modern channeled teachings, Arcturians are described as advanced consciousness beings, guides assisting humanity through evolutionary leaps in awareness. They are often linked to sacred geometry, energetic healing, and planetary ascension. Whether you interpret them as literal extraterrestrial beings, higher dimensional consciousness, archetypal wisdom, or a metaphor for your higher self, that's up to you. But here's the real question. Why does this message feel urgent? Why last sign? When we say last sign, it's not about fear. It's about threshold energy. Humanity is in a convergence point, a compression, a choice point. Think about it. Systems are destabilizing. Old identities are dissolving. Relationships are shifting. Careers feel misaligned. The pace of reality feels accelerated. You are not imagining it. The Arcturian message, echoed through countless intuitives and experiencers, is this. The window for passive awakening is closing, not because the window for passive awakening is closing, not because the energetic frequency of Earth is rising and stagnation is becoming uncomfortable. The three waves of awakening, signed awakening. The Arcturian teachings often describe awakening in waves. 1. The first wave. Curiosity. You felt something was off. You sensed there was more beyond the material world. Maybe that happened years ago. Maybe it happened last month, but you felt the crack in the illusion. 2. The second wave, purging. Then came the disruption. Old friendships ended. Habits collapsed. Emotional triggers intensified. Shadow work surfaced. This phase feels chaotic, but it's detoxification. You cannot carry old density into higher frequency. 3. The third wave, activation. This is where you are. Activation is not about waiting for a savior. It's not about waiting for disclosure. It's not about waiting for disclosure. It's not about waiting for governments to confirm extraterrestrial life. It's about embodying the frequency you already sense. Let's make this practical. This isn't about building a spaceship. It's about alignment. Here's what acting now looks like. 1. Make the decision you've been avoiding. You already know what it is. Leaving the job. Ending the relationship starting the creative project. Speaking your truth. Starting the creative project. Speaking your truth. Procrastination is fear disguised as logic. The Arcturian frequency amplifies authenticity. If something is misaligned, it will feel heavier by the day. 2. Stop dimming yourself. Many who resonate with Arcturian energy identify as starseeds, souls who feel they originated from other systems, including Arcturus. Whether literal or symbolic, the pattern is the same. You feel different. You think differently. You think differently. You sense energy deeply. You struggle with superficial systems, and you've learned to shrink. Your nervous system may fear visibility, but your soul requires expression. 3. Regulate your energy. Advanced consciousness is not about escape. It's about nervous system mastery. The Arcturians are often described as highly coherent beings, meaning their energy fields are stable and harmonized. If you want to align with higher frequency, sleep properly, breathe intentionally, reduce overstimulation, meditate consistently. Grounding is not optional. The collapse of old timelines. There is a strong theme within Arcturian transmissions about timelines. Timelines are vibrational tracks. You shift timelines through decisions. When you tolerate what you know is misaligned, you anchor into a lower density timeline. When you choose courage, you quantum jump. Right now, multiple collective timelines are available. Fear-based collapse, technocratic control, conscious sovereignty. Technocratic control, conscious sovereignty, heart-centered evolution. Your micro-choices feed the macro reality. That's why the urgency exists. This is not about apocalypse. It's about trajectory. Signs, you've been receiving the call. If this is your last sign, you've already received many before it. Maybe you've noticed repeating numbers, vivid dreams involving stars or like beings, sudden interest in sacred geometry, emotional waves that feel cosmic rather than personal, a deep longing to go home, even when you're home. These are not proofs. They are not proofs. They are invitations. The Arcturian archetype represents higher order intelligence, guiding evolutionary jumps. The fear of acting lets address the real resistance. Why haven't you acted yet? Because action collapses possibility into reality. Because action collapses possibility into reality. But once you act, you choose. And choosing requires identity death. The Arcturian message is simple. You are more afraid of your power than of your suffering. Read that again. What happens if you don't act? Nothing catastrophic. Life will continue, but it will feel increasingly compressed. Synchronicities will intensify. Discomfort will escalate. Relationships will intensify. Discomfort will escalate. Relationships will intensen. The universe becomes louder when you ignore whispers. This episode is not the first whisper. It's the crescendo, day portal. Many intuitive channels have spoken of acceleration windows, periods where intention manifests faster. Right now is one of them. The next 90 days hold amplified creation energy. Whatever you focus on will stabilize. If you focus on fear, you anchor fear. If you focus on sovereignty, you anchor fear. If you focus on sovereignty, you anchor sovereignty. Acting now means to choose consciously, deliberately, intentionally. Close your eyes. Imagine a version of you 12 months from now. They acted. They chose alignment. They stopped apologizing for their depth. They committed fully. How do they stand? How do they breathe? How do they speak? Now ask them, what did you finally do? Listen carefully. That answer is your action. The Arcturian code, coherence, one of the strongest themes in Arcturian teachings, is coherence. Coherence between thought and action, word and embodiment, intention and behavior. Incoherence creates energetic distortion. That distortion feels like anxiety. When you act in alignment, your body relaxes. Even if circumstances are uncertain, that's the sign you're on the higher timeline. This is not about escape. A lot of spiritual narratives lean toward transcendence, leaving Earth, ascending out, escaping density. Arcturian guidance, however, emphasizes integration. You're not here to leave. You're here to anchor. To anchor clarity in chaos. To anchor clarity in chaos. To anchor calm in disruption. To anchor intelligence in confusion. But anchoring requires embodiment. And embodiment requires courage, the collective turning point. We are in an era of disclosure conversations, advanced AI, global instability, and rapid technological acceleration. Symbolically, this mirrors inner evolution. External systems are fragmenting because consciousness is upgrading, whether or not you interpret Arcturians as literal beings from Arcturus. The archetype stands. Higher intelligence is available, but it meets you at the level of responsibility you're willing to hold. The final message. If this truly is your last sign, here's what it means. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for rescue. You already know. You felt it before this episode even started. Act now, not recklessly, not impulsively, but decisively. Send the email, make the call, start the channel, write the book, leave the misaligned path, choose the aligned one. The energy is supporting bold clarity. Closing transmission. Take one more breath with me. Imagine a beam of coherent light entering through the crown of your head, traveling down your spine, rooting into the earth. You are not small. You are not lost. You are not late. You are at a threshold, and thresholds are crossed, not contemplated. The next move is yours. Act now.